Okay, so welcome Ian. Welcome to the Aforza HQ number 2 in London. Welcome to the Aforza Employee Insight Series. Great to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Andy.
I'm sure this is not your first time here in BrewDog Waterloo.
No, it's second or third, I think it is now.
Yeah.
So, what a wonderful location, isn't it? It is special.
I think it's fantastic. We can just pop across from the office and use this fantastic facility.
Do you know what? I've been down. It's the first time I've been down this end of the building, and so to see all these little sort of booths and things like that we can sort of break out into, I can see myself having a few meetings.
Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, look, thanks so much for joining us today. This is the Aforza Employee Insight Series. So this is all about rolling up our sleeves, being transparent, just talking about what it's like to be an employee at Aforza, why you love it, maybe why you don't, and why someone should come and join us here. And so I'm really excited today to be talking to you about lessons that you learned on the road in Portugal. So you're recently back from a trip with a couple of our customers, and we're going to be jumping into that today.
Yeah.
So really excited. But before we do that, maybe take a few minutes to introduce yourself, your role, how long you've been here, and why you love it.
Okay, so Ian Scarr, I'm a regional sales director, so predominantly I now look after Europe.
Yep.
So we have our ICP clients across the whole of Europe, and I'm ably assisted by Jack Bailey, and the two of us are going out there and are really attacking the market with our new sort of messaging that we've sort of been developing over the last 12 months. And the 12 months that I've been at Aforza, so I've been at Aforza almost exactly a year now.
Wow.
And that transformation journey of myself within the organisation has been really cool, because I came on and did some sort of general business sort of team lead work initially, and as we've started to pivot our messaging and the new markets that we're going after, it's been a lot of fun and a lot of learning. The old adage that every day is a school day, it is at Aforza. You're always learning and developing, and I think we are in such a better place now, 12 months down the line, with everything that we do and the skill sets of the people that we have now. It's really, really exciting, and I really believe that we're on that sort of precipice of...
It does feel exciting, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. We're about to lift off.
Absolutely. And nothing better, you said every day's a school day, and I think nothing better than learning your craft and getting out there with the customers. So super excited to be jumping into that day. But before we do, question I've been asking everybody is, tell me something or tell us something about yourself that maybe no one knows.
Lots of things. I volunteer for a lot of stuff, and I've worked at a festival and helped grow a local festival in Ampthill, from a couple of hundred people to thousands and thousands of people coming along and watching really, really cool bands across the whole weekend. So that's one thing. Coupled to that, I'm a DJ under the moniker of Viking. So
comfortable in it, right?
Yeah. So this is great. I love this. And then I was also games maker in the Olympics back in 2012, so 10 years ago. And I looked after the photojournalists in the Olympic Stadium. So I was there for the 2 weeks. I was there on Super Saturday. I was performing and sort of helping the athletes get into the right positions for the photographers to take the shots that would then be being beamed around the world. And one of the things that we had to do on the opening ceremony was where the position where I was, the photographers couldn't move. So we had to take their SD cards from them, put them in envelopes, label them, and send a run around to the media centre for them to be loaded and then sent around the world so they can go into the latest publication. So there was a lot of responsibility, and we're all volunteers.
Right.
So that was quite cool, if not a bit scary as well.
Yeah, I'd say. So we said DJ, festivals, and the Olympics.
All
to the industry cloud, right?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Here we are today. So, good stuff. Well, I really mean this when I say I think we're recording this whole series. This is genuinely one of the most exciting for me. I think you're back from a week's tour with a couple of other employees in the field in Portugal with one of our first customers, and one of our you're probably second or third in the region as well. And so you learnt a lot, and I think we're just going to dive into that today, right? So we'll talk about that. So yeah, talk a little bit about the trip, how it came about, who you went there with, and really what you learned.
I think customer feedback for Aforza is hugely important, and that feedback for driving product development is massive for us. As a young company, we need to be listening to our customers and our employees as well as we develop the product moving forward. So the trip was a message, I think it was from Nick Eels, who's our chief technology officer and one of the co-founders, was, Ian, we want to send someone to Portugal to go and visit one of our clients. We need sales representation there, and he really had to twist my arm to go. as you can imagine. So it was like, okay, great, this sounds perfect. Who do we want to go? Well, Cosmina, who's our chief designer. And then I said, well, we do need some sales engineering representation as well. So we took Callum along with us.
Who we had earlier in the booth.
So we went as a sort of a dream team, as I was sort of gave us a little bit of a nickname as we went over there. And we spent a full week in Lisbon. And we spent
in the field, right?
In the field. So it was 50-50. We just had the latest summer release. Which was our 10th release. So again, that was a real groundbreaking release for us in the organisation, and we wanted to go across and make sure that the customers, so the two customers we went to visit, both understood the mechanics of the release, but also the functionality and everything that was cool that was coming along that they could actually use, and maybe some of the things that they didn't realise was in the product as well. So we could sort of upskill them up their knowledge of Aforza, and they could start to use the Aforza in lots and lots of different ways that maybe they aren't right now. Gotcha. So then that was the commercial side of the trip. The actual feedback side of the trip was just show us how you use it. Yeah. Let's go out in the field with your sales reps as much as we can, and we dictated that was the purpose of the trip. So we had at least half a day with Novidis. With their reps out in the field, and we had a very high intensity sort of day really with them, so half day stroke into a day. So in the morning we were in downtown Lisbon, and we were going around lots of bars and restaurants, and the requirement for the rep is to input orders as fast as they can, because they only have a limited amount of time within each of the different visits.
And I guess that's both in terms of like what's expected of them as an employee, but what's the time of the customer as well. Right? These are busy people running their own businesses.
Absolutely, and they know that they're coming because they've obviously pre-called or emailed or whatever it is, and they know they're on a schedule. Portugal's still got a bit of a traditional market feel about it, so you've still got reps out in the field that are taking orders direct from the end customer.
And how many visits are they doing a day? Are we talking?
So in Novidis, you're about 30 or 40. In Sumo Compal, you're looking at 50, 60 potentially, and they've only got
a day, right?
That's a day, and sometimes they've only got 5 minutes,
right,
each customer, if not less. So they need the solution to have penny perfect pricing. They need to have all the commercial policies, all the promotions. Exactly. They need to have everything at their fingertips. And they give us some really cool feedback as to how they use it. We saw it visually. We've got lots of videos and interviews with them as well. But also they gave us some great feedback as to how we can improve that and how we can speed up what they're doing actually face to face. Because a lot of the even though, like I say, they're traditional, so they're still taking all the orders, they've still got an account management element to their role, and it's the soft skills of sales that I call it, which is it's the relationship building, it's the recommending more products, maybe it's looking at their merchandising, maybe it's looking at the visuals that they've got in the shop or in the restaurant to make sure that the product placement is correct.
Stuff really matters there.
It's hugely important for the brand. So but
you've still got to fit that into 5 minutes, right? So you can't have any disruptions.
No, exactly. Yeah. So you've got to be able to, and if you've got a repeat order capability and things like that within the tool, which you do, you can then quickly input that, submit the order, sync it, and then you can start talking about sort of the softer stuff.
And what were the individuals like that you worked with? Did they like the solution? Were they?
They loved it, and on a number of occasions they said to us, it's so much better than what we had before. And here's our feedback to make it better.
Yeah.
It's
not going to stop here, and I think that's one of the great things about this, industry cloud solutions is we'll keep taking on that feedback and keep driving forward. And
that's the huge thing really from this trip. And we've I think because of the success of the trip as well and the feedback that we've actually got some of that feedback into the winter release, and then most of it will be coming in the spring release. Wow. So
you're out there, a few weeks ago, and already in our next release, we were incorporating feedback from the field.
Exactly, and we had a feedback meeting with Sumo Compal yesterday, and we presented back to them our findings, and we've got another one coming in about a week or so with Novidis, and they were really pleased with the fact that we'd listened. We'd actually fed back to them that the information that they gave to us is translated into real action within the product, and they are, both companies now want to be part of that sort of customer steering sort of group, and that's probably something that will develop and expand as we grow as well. But they want some workshops, and there's going to be some interesting things around some of the predictive ordering sort of stuff we're going to be doing. So we're going to get more data from them and start to sort of really expand that. So there's things that we didn't know and they didn't know, and now we all know.
And you don't know unless you get out there, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
So you've just got to go out there and talk to people.
Excellent. So you talked about a lot of things there, a lot of things you covered, but if you had to highlight a few kind of key bits, the best bits of the trip, 3 takeaways, what would you come away with?
So I've got so much respect for the guys that are out in the field. The dedication, the hard work, and the stress that they are under was quite eye-opening. I think the market over here in the UK is very sort of modern. It's a different sort of approach, I suppose, to sales. These guys are out in the field, and they've got to have something that is super reliable, really efficient, quick, easy to use, and doesn't restrict their day. So one of the biggest takeaways for me was that the dedication of that team, but then the ability of Aforza to help them do their job. That was huge. So that's probably 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
just on that, let's double back on that, because we talked about that in a couple of sessions today, where for different job roles and walks of life, people have talked about loving working here because we can understand the pains of the industry, but actually do something about it. And I think that point you made there is having real impact rather than just smoke and mirrors, talking the talk is huge, right?
And obviously, being a sales guy myself and running a sales team and having people that we talk about value all the time, and the value of Aforza. Being out in the field with people that are really using our product really hits home the value and the impact that we have for these companies, but also on the day-to-day job that these people are doing in the field or they're doing in the back office. And it's Aforza that's allowing them to do that.
Yeah. These aren't just users of the system. These are real people doing real jobs with their own worries and stresses and strains and targets to hit, right?
No, exactly. They're not a face on a slide that we talk about from a sales perspective. These are actually real people whose jobs depend on the fact that Aforza works. And allows them to sell more.
Absolutely. So, can you just on that? I think you've absolutely underlined the importance of getting out there, getting real feedback, and doing that. But can you talk a bit about why it's so important to get face to face with customers? And I think that point you made there, not just a face on a slide. I think we are in this last 3 or 4 years, kind of much more of a virtual, remote kind of world, and it's probably put some of that off in ways that we're going to have to struggle to get back. But why is it important to get out there and make that difference?
Relationship building.
Yep.
It is, I had a customer say to me the other day, he says, we trust you, because we've met you.
Yep.
So you get that connection. And though you go into meetings and you talk about the business side of things, you get to know these people, you get to know a little bit about their background and their sort of their home life. And it's the little sort of soft chats that you have outside of the meetings that you get to understand that you're dealing with real human beings and real people. And that is hugely important. It's one of our the elements of Aforza, isn't it? It's the trust element.
Yeah, absolutely. One of our core values.
One of our core values. And for people to say and turn around to us in a meeting and say, we talk to you about these things and we want to develop with you moving forward because we trust you and we know that you are going to help us do these things. So that's, for me, that's the number one. It's getting.
Do you think on that trust, with transparency, do you think users tell you more when you're out there with them? Do you think?
Yeah, they do, because it's
the lens, right?
Yeah, and it's they tell you what they want in an official capacity in the meetings, but it's like I say, it's that soft chat on the side when you're having a coffee or whatever.
Yeah.
Or it was warm when we were over in Lisbon, so we were out on the balcony, sort of near one of the meeting rooms, and just sort of chatting away, looking at the sort of the beautiful scenery, and you're just talking,
opening up, right?
Opening up and just relaxed.
Yep.
And that translates into then getting stuff done when you're back in the offices. They know they can call you, they can count on you to actually do things in a favourable way for them, if you know what I mean as well.
Yeah, and then when you need it, they're probably going to go out their way for
Absolutely,
you as well, right?
Yeah. So it's
excellent.
A two-way thing.
Excellent. So what's next? Any more plans to get out into the field?
So
certainly hearing you encouraging it across the teams, right?
So we've got UK customers now that want to do that. So our design team want to go out with UK customers, and funnily enough, one of our customers, BrewDog, we have a meeting. I think it's in a week or so's time with Jerry Shedden and the team, and one of the outcomes of that sort of business review meeting will be that we send Ben and Cos and a few of the team out and do some more rep runs in the UK, because the market and the usage of Aforza is different over here. So we want to get those customer stories so that we know how to sell Aforza better moving forward. But again, it's that trust thing and it's that feedback loop from our UK customers, not only our sort of continental Europe. And then obviously we'll be going back out to other locations across Europe, including Portugal again, because they're two of
Such
our
a
sort
home
of,
for us, right?
yes, they're one of our foundational sort of customers. So it's important that we keep moving them along.
You talked about Cos a couple of times, and Cos is our lead designer here, runs the design team. How did you feel that the customer responded to having our head of design out in the field? I mean, we put a lot of emphasis on look and feel, and I think the sales teams appreciate solutions they can actually use. But how did how was she greeted when she was out there? What was the enthusiasm for her being there in the
fantastically well. They loved the fact it wasn't just a sales trip.
Exactly, that's so important. Right?
Yeah, so it wasn't just Ian going along there trying to extract some more money out of them. No, ultimately, long term, we want our customers to grow and we want their revenues to grow and our revenues grow with them. But to have the designers go out there and get that tangible feedback that they can translate into solutions for our customers is hugely important, and they loved it. And Cos was fantastic. And she had some wireframes and some designs of concepts.
Yep.
And we did tag them that these are concepts. They may or may not look like this, but these are the ideas that we have.
Get involved in our roadmap, right? And
exactly. And would this work for you in this particular way? Or if we tweak this, what information do you need in this particular area or this field? Is there too much white space here? What could we put here that would give you benefit, that would speed up your process if you're out in the field or if you're in the back office? So to have the designer there was hugely important to the success of the trip.
Awesome. Well, it's been fantastic. I see 12 months at Aforza now, lots of experience. If you're talking to anybody considering a role here, looking at Aforza, what would you tell them?
Get on the bus.
Yeah.
It's going on a journey, and it's going to be a really fun journey. As we learn and as we improve and as we get better and the product gets stronger and the market understands what Aforza can do and the power of what we do, then this ride on that bus is going to be fantastic. So yeah, join.
Excellent. Great advice from Ian there. And Ian, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here at the Waterloo Podcast Project. Really talking about the lessons that you learned on your Portugal trip recently. And thanks again. I'm sure we'll be talking in the future. So thanks, Ian.
Thanks, Andy. Pleasure.